So hi everybody and welcome back to this Unreal Engine 5 full game tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 87 and in this video we continue with our explosion. We are not finished. And what we are doing in this video is we add sound and we add also the pistol input. So let's get into it. So first of all, we open our horror character again. And we created already this test explosion here, this 2 nodes. And what we do is just adding sound to this explosion, because I forget to add this in the last video. That's very easy actually to add. That's why you just have to drag out here, right, play sound at location or play sound like you want. I choose the location. And then just there where you spawn the explosion, in my case it's a spawn explosion, I just take here the spawn place and add it here too, so you can see now I play the sound exactly at the location where I spawn also the explosion. That's it. Then the next step is, you can see this is again a key binding for test purposes, the B key. We replace this like old time with a custom event when we want to use it, right? Later I won't use this, so I want not activate it with my actively the explosion. I won't call it after I used my pistol. That's why we create here a custom event. Right click, write custom event, custom event, and if you do this one here, name it what you like. In my case I called it explode tubes. Perhaps I rename this one and then just connect it here. I still use this B here for test purposes, but later when you are finished, just remove this one and use only this one. So with that said, you can already test now the sound and it should work. And when I test this one here, play from here. Let's see if I find this. Press B. Yes, that sounds already good. That looks good, that sounds good, that makes already. Of course, you have to get a sound explosion again. In my case, this, oops, sorry for that. Here, this plays sound, you have to assign here the sound. In my case, I get it from this grenade pack. It was free. And there are many free sounds of explosion, you can get it. So you don't have to create, but of course you can create your own sound effect as well. If you want to record it anyhow, it's also possible. But you can see I make it the short way. And let's go to the next step. So this one is good, but now I want, like I said, not activate it with a B. I want that my player should shot with the pistol the tubes. And the tubes explode then and we kill the tentacle worm. Alright, so how we make this? And actually there are different ways to make it. Easy way, difficult way. And I choose one way which is not easy for starters to follow, because I will just use the horror engine again and I will just manipulate the place where the pistol is, because the horror engine, let me show you this here. I placed here already a pistol, which we will find later anyway during gameplay. This is just for test purposes. Let's see if I find this. Let me show you. You pick up this pistol anytime you will have here your pistol, then you equip your pistol, and now I want shot right here, this thing, and they should explode. And I don't want create all this pistol and this animation and this shot all by myself. Of course you can make this. That's why I use the built-in horror engine, and now I show you the way how you find the right place. First, how you analyze this. It's not easy, like I said, for beginners it's not easy to analyze the step. That's why I show you how I found it a little bit. It's also not so easy for me to understand other code, because analyzing it's all time difficult, but if you find it, then it's easy. So let's get into it. So first of all, what you do is, I want to use the pistol, right? Right? Sorry. And the pistol has a input shot. So I go to the input section. This is the place in the horror engine again, and search pistol shot. And you can see I found it here. Here's an input section, fire. When I press fire, and the fire is calling the pistol shot, exactly what I need. That's good. Let's open it up and look what it's doing. All right, the pistol shot is a little big, but that's the point. I want not create all this kind of stuff. That's why I use it. because I want that it's already created for me. I won't just use it. The only thing what I want here is where I can include my own code. So we find just the place where we can include our own code. So you can analyze this. You can see here it says the pistol must be equipped or used valid. So it is all just checks here at start, many checks and so on. And then if you can shoot again, and all the settings they made for us. So I say nice, so I don't have to do it. I waste not too much time. I can just go and find a very critical point, and the critical point is here. It says here should target, and this is also implemented. You have to be careful that the should target is implemented. It could happen that you try to analyze a should which has not even implemented, for example, the should function or something like that. In our case, it's good. It has implemented it here. Here, this should target. I double click on this one, and the should target says here, okay, holding object. This is probably the object pistol. If this is false, it's not the pistol, so something else, object is here, something else, then you can go on, usable valid, which is our also not our pistol, and then you can do this one, and then here's again ignore. So anyway, that's not so important. The important part comes now. Sorry. The should target check here use just a line trace by channel again, and again this line trace we have talked a lot, and you see this line trace is a very important node because you can do a lot of things with that. And careful, normally also when you shoot something, it is normally different implemented. What I mean with that is when you go for the first person template, they use a projectile, and the projectile is overlapping with something, and then it is subtracted. But here they use line trace by channel, which is also possible. And that's very important that you know this difference. There are two different kind of implementations. And here we have line trace by channel, which means every time when you shoot, it creates again this line trace, what I showed you already in my other video. We can activate this, by the way, so that we can see this debug. Let's activate this debug present. Let me see if I can show you what I mean here. Perhaps, and then let me see. I don't know. I just tested. Let's see if I find this cultist. So when I should now, you can see the red lines here. This is the trace which is created here, and we can use that, right? And the important part is you must check how far this goes, because if it's too short and you stay too much away, it will not work. That's the only thing which you have to consider. But you can see this is a different implementation thing. All right, with that said, let's go back. Let's set this back because I don't need it. You have only to know this is implemented with a trace, and the nice thing about trace, well, what we learned is it will generate this hit events, right? And this one is also generating hit events, and here it says out hit actor, and here I had a problem. Normally what I would make is something like that. I'd grab it out and then I write equal, for example this one, and then I try to equal to find the actor, and anyhow I don't know why what I made wrong, it's not working. So we skip this part. We are not using equal. There is another way to do it. What is the other way? And that's I'm showing you. The other way is, instead of using equal, you can use get display name. So with other words, if you shot something and then it gets the display name, and depends on the display name, I can say, okay, go ahead or don't or not. And in my case, I say, okay, when I shot here with my pistol, for example, this one, then this name here on the outliner, you can see here, this one will be get. This is the display name later in our what comes out here. And I say, okay, if you are the display name or one of this one, so I have to get probably all here to check which is explosive, then you can just get them and then activate the explosion if if one of them is hit, right? And that's I'm doing actually. So with other words, what I do is, instead of checking for equality, I just say here, you drag this out, and then you write here, like I already did, get display name, and then you have this display name. Let's do it here again. And then what you have to do is, after this one, this display name, you make an equal string, because this display name is a string. So you make here equal string, then you get something like that. And then you have to list all the things what you need, what you think when it's hit this one, it's explosive. And I have only here one right now, which is not right, because I need probably more than one. And how we can make this more than one here? So you can see, you write here exactly the name. This 3 equal signs here mean exactly. Exactly means it must be exactly the name. If it's one letter wrong, it will be not displayed. But other question, I need here more. You can see I have just assigned here 1. How we can make this here more? So for example, I need all the 3. What you can do is, there are probably different solutions. I have not checked it. You can make, I don't know if there's a switch, but you can make an OR and so on. I show you this probably next time, how you can make this with a node, which is better. But one simple solution is just make here or you make here this one or boolean, make this one or, and let's copy this one here, paste this one in, and you can see I just copied this one here, but I don't know if this one is the best solution. And then all time you write different names in what is possible. In my case, let's say here the four times I need the things which can be possible here, the 4 things. And when I hit one of them, then you connect this one to the OR. That's I don't know, I can get here one more, or I can. And then instead of this one, you connect this here. You can see this will work. And then you have, like I said, not write all time the same name here. Then you write here exactly the different name. What you can do is just select one of them, which you think. So this thing here. Then you go here to the outliner. You go here, select this one, press F2, press Control C for copy. Then it copies exactly the name. Careful, not rename it. And then you go here, select this, Control V. Now you have print exactly the name, and you do this with the other things as well. Let's do it with this one I think. Let's do this with this one again. So Control F2 for renaming, but don't rename it. Control C for copying, or just type in if you want, but that takes some more time, I think. And then you go here again, select this one, Control V, input, and that's it. So that's working. This is one way how you can make here more, but I think there are other ways too, but this one is the one I'm using. And you can see this OR here means just if one of this one is accepted, it will set this one to true. All right, the next thing is what you have to do, because now we have just to call our explosion, because now we know, okay, we shot this one is the thing what I want blow up. And then you have called the explosion, which is in our character, this one here. This is my character blueprint again. But here we created this custom event. That's why we created this custom event, to call it. So we have just to call it. And in this case, I have to call my character again. Normally you make this only one time. And then you make here a reference, and then you use all time the reference. I don't found the reference anyhow, so I use just this character here, get player character, cast to my horror engine character, and then from the horror engine character you can just call the custom event which we created. In my case was called, what was it called here, explode tube. So I just go out here, explode tube, and you call it, and with that we can test it. So this is the code. And very important, after you did this one, you can see what I used here. I called all this stuff here after this line trace. That's very important. And I used here a sequence. Why I used a sequence? Because sequence is not the best solution, perhaps, but perhaps it is. We will see. The sequence I use most time for test purpose. Why is that so? I show you this because if you use a sequence means first you just execute the normal code which was before there, for example what the horror engine did and so, and then I just added my code. In the next step they should execute my code here, and you can see this is not let's say so, it is not too much interfering with the other code, and that's why I use all time a sequence for test purposes or later as well. But later, if you think that this one should work like you want, then you can create this one a function here. So you can collapse this one to a function, or collapse at all. You know this kind of stuff. You can collapse this node to make it something like very small. You can see now I have collapsed it very simple, but in my case I keep this just because I'm not finished probably. Like I said, Control Z, and yeah, but you know this, I hope so far, that you can collapse all things later to make it look simpler. But important is it must work. And after this one, you can see the normal code from the horror engine sequence line executes normal. I have nothing changed there, and here I had just my my line is just the second one, which we'll call also after we passed here the line trace. And that's it. You can see that with this little input we are finished and we can test it. Let's compile and save all again. You can see that if there is an asterisk, just compile and save all. And now let's test this for test purposes. If this is working, play from here.
Let's see if I find this cultist.
All right. Yeah, let's stay there. So I have just to hit one of them now. Let's go a little bit back and let's see. And again, important is that if you are too far away, it can be that you don't hit. You have to look the trace how long this is. But let's test this one. Yes, it worked. You see, I shot here and this exploded. Again, that's nice. It's working. And here, if the trace is not long enough, then you have to modify this one here, the start and end. And we have talked about this, right? But let's get it again. You can just go here, pistol shot distance. Here you can see they have this one here, and he set it to 3000. You can make this longer if you like. Yeah, that's it for this video. It works nice, I think. For my case, the explosion was good. And now we have, of course, do a little bit more because we want to kill here the tentacles, and we make now a killing. Yeah, how we kill these tentacles now. When this is exploding, the tentacles should be die, and all this kind of stuff we make in the next video and so on. So for this video it's finished. If you have any question, like all time, any comments, write in the comment section. See you in the next video. Bye, good luck, and have fun.